You know, one of the things I was talking about in my venting video was how sometimes you have to admit that you have a problem. Now, one of my favorite mantras to live by is don't be so high and mighty that you're no earthly good. There'll be some people that be like, no, you don't acknowledge your problems because that's feeding it energy and that's making it exist. Okay, you can stay on your cloud over there. Clearly, you are having some type of issue. You have something that is negatively affecting you, and you just ignoring it and feeding it good vibes isn't going to make it go away. Sometimes that's like a life thing that like life will present you with an issue that you have to deal with, that you have to acknowledge. Just because like you close your eyes does not mean that the burglar's not in your house. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not like a kid no more. Peekaboo don't work no more. Just because I cover up my face doesn't mean I'm invisible. You know, like that. What was like the bank burglar that like he squeezed lemon juice in his eyes or something because he believed that made him invisible because he couldn't see. He thought no one else could see. It was a very dumb dude. He probably had some mental illness or something like that. But nevertheless, that's just like one of the funny stories. So you hiding from your issues does not work. Sometimes you have to acknowledge their presence and you have to deal with them. Running away from your problems does not work because all of your problems reside in your mind. You can run here, you can do that, this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to go anywhere. You know, another thing that I live by is for those of you that think that you can drown your sorrows, you know, using alcohol or whatever, you have to remember that your sorrows can swim. Using that same analogy, it's like go hold a beach ball underwater. Look how much energy it takes to try to keep it down, you know, to hold on to it. Look how you can't swim around in the pool no more because all of your energy, all of your attention is going to keeping the beach ball underwater. But what happens when you finally slip? What happens when you finally crack and you lose grip of your issues that you've been trying to keep down? They erupt all at once, you know, and that's something that happens to me often. It's something that I'm continuously working on and I'm building upon. You know, but nevertheless, you know, I just wanted to remind y'all that you have to acknowledge your problems. You know, some of y'all don't realize though, one of some of y'all's biggest problem is you are living a life that's not your own. You're living a life that makes your parents proud instead of what makes you happy. You know, like if I were to go back in time, I would swap out college. Of course, I'm very appreciative of my life and everything like that and the way that's gone down because it's made me who I am to this moment. So in all honesty, I wouldn't switch things around. But let's just say, you know, in that world, if there was something that you had to switch in life, it's like I will have gone a completely different route. You know what I'm saying? It's like instead of going to college, I will have gone to like a monk place. I will have gone on a seeked apprenticeship, seeked apprenticeship by some shaman or something like that. I will have gone into the not priesthood like the church and all that type of stuff, but like I will have became like a goddamn like voodoo priest or something like that. If I could like go back and change some things, I would spend all of my time on that. You know, I would go learn the true magic, true sorcery. I would be spending all my time doing that. Who says I can't do it now? But I'm just saying, you know, it's like that's just how I would do some things, you know. But like, it's like because that's the life that I want to live. You know, it's like when you really think about it, some of y'all went to college and you got degrees that are actually very useless. So you want to accrue all that debt for a degree that you don't even care about. You know, as I progress throughout this journey, you know, one of my biggest enemies in life, one of my biggest enemies slash motivators has just been corporate America. You know, like it's like, for example, right? For my job, I'm usually doing like, or you know, well, typically doing like construction oversight and stuff like that. And because I have this fancy pants degree, I have this job where some people say, "Oh, I would kill for your job," and this and that. But like sometimes it's like I would rather be the guy digging with the shovel. I would rather be the dude loading up all the equipment on the truck to move it to the other site just to unload it again. That type of stuff actually brings me pleasure. That's actually fun for me. You know, a lot of people, it's like don't get me wrong, I am a leader and I lead myself. But I love being somebody's right hand man. I love being an assistant to people. You know, I love motivating people. I love getting people to their dreams. Now, corporate America is like the kind of the trap because you're building and you're working so hard to only get a fraction of the cut, where the owner and CEO is the millionaire and you're worried about your rent payment. You see, I don't like that structure. But another thing I don't like about that structure is because I got this piece of paper, because I sat through some classes, I don't have to get my hands dirty because I'm fancy with my bachelor's degree. But like at the same time, I'm like, but what makes me happy? I like digging the holes with the shovel. I like lifting things. I like wiping the sweat off of because that just makes me feel good because it's all multi-purpose too. I'm getting my workout, I'm getting paid, but I'm not clearly going to get paid as much as I do. That's why I stay in my position and I just keep on rising. But they always say rise up the corporate ladder, but why continue a journey that you have no interest in the final goal? What's the final goal? You know, to become a high rank manager, you have all these, you're getting all this liability, you're getting all this responsibility just for a little bit more money, for a little bit bigger slice of the pie. That's what the corporate ladder leads you to until you finally say, you know what, I want to work for myself. And that's what a lot of people are doing right now. You know, and it's like, that's where it's like, I'm trying to find my thing. Like I said, I wanted to get into public speaking. And that's why I always reach out to the world and be like, hey, it's like, if you want me to come speak and you see what I'm about, it's like, of course, I can always tailor my message. I can not curse on some of them. This is just me sitting in my room, sitting in my neighborhood talking, you know, but I know how to lay down a good message. So if any of y'all need some presenters out there, you know, I could get the Zoom calls, you know what I'm saying? You know, you could fly me out to wherever you're going so I can speak at your event. Hit me up. I'm very easy to find. Got to advertise yourself sometimes. But anyway, nevertheless, it's like, that's the type of stuff. But like, you're not taught this as a child. So you're living this life that your teachers have, that they want you to live. Like, you ask some kids, what do you want to do with your life? You're asking a 16-year-old what he wants to do for the rest of his life. Does that make sense? You know, like, just like, it's something I saw it while I was in high school. But like, you know, it was like, just a couple of weeks ago, these kids had to raise their hands to go to the bathroom. And now we're asking them to make a decision about what they want to do for the rest of their lives. Things change. Things change. So why is it that you're just locked into this path? And then the whole trap is, if you want to switch over your, like, for example, like for me, I find myself stuck in like the construction route because I got pigeonholed into a certain thing. Pigeonholed into groundwater sampling, soil sampling, construction. Don't get me wrong, I love construction stuff. I love the sounds. I love the building. I love it. You know, so I will admit that I do love that. But if I wanted to switch over right now to another more lucrative career like banking and finance or something like that, and I want to like maintain my quality of living with that, they'll be like, oh, well, you don't have any experience in such and such. I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, but I wanted to switch my career. I wanted to do something, and that's unheard of in the way that the corporate structure is set up, because you're 20-something, like you're mid-20s, and you got all this experience with this, but you don't have the experience with this. Why would we hire you? Because I can show you that I can do more than one thing. That's the craziest thing about resumes. Like, sure, it's you to articulate yourself and like advertise yourself, but then y'all don't find it weird that you're seeking acceptance from somebody else? Like, please pick me for this job. Please pick me for this job. Sure, you can come in there confident and be like, oh, well, I have the background in such, and I have exemplary skills in Microsoft Excel, and I can also use this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, interesting fact. Like, sure, but all you're still doing is, please give me this job. Please give me this job. Please give me this job. I'm not saying like, you know, like there's not some people that know they got the job in the bag, but you still have to be approved by somebody. Everything has to be approved by a higher up in the way that our structure is. You know, for me, it's like I hate the idea of suits because I hate the idea of the military. I don't like the military. It's like, why do we have them? The fact that we have the military shows how messed up the world is. And it's not even the world. I actually think the world is a great, beautiful place. I genuinely believe that all people are great and amazing. I think it's just a handful of the powers that be that promote all the war games. They're literally called the war games. That's literally what's going on right now. Anyway, you know, I'm just like, but you got to be careful about the newest thing that everyone's scared of now. But it's like think about it. The suit, the suit, the thing that, you know, the shirt, the tie, the jacket, and all that type of stuff, the nice shoes, that's a derivation from the military fatigues. What did they used to wear back in the day? They all wore the khakis and the ties and the hats. Where did the suits come from? Corporate America. It's like, that's why they're called companies. What are the groups of people, like the groups of people, the organized groups of people in the military called? Oh, they're called companies too. Everything comes from the military. So when people are running around saying, oh, we live in a fascist society, you say, oh, get a life, hippie, blah, blah, blah. But no, quite literally, we are a military-based society. And it's like the only reason that the US dollar has value is because we have the military behind it. But as you guys have seen, we're going through inflation. I know we're going off on a random tangent here. But it's like, as you've seen, it's like we are literally living the lie that's starting to crumble all around us. The US dollar has been destroyed and is falling apart in your face. That's why I always preach crypto, crypto, crypto. But that's the thing, that when it's outside of people's paradigms that we've been taught about, people are reluctant to change and they want to just keep up the old way of thinking for everything. But we're living in a different age now, where we're all starting to think for ourselves, do different things. You know, we're starting to change our ideas of success in our own minds. And this all the circle to circle is back, because I went it's like I took a little detour there. But you know, it's like that's the reason, because you're spending your life trying to live somebody else's dream. You know, it's like the Asian stereotype. You know, I was watching like a stand-up thing, and like he's like it's the funniest thing about that stereotype is that it's true. It's like Indian parents and like, you know, like Asian parents. I guess technically it's all Asian, huh? But nevertheless, you know what I mean. It's like you need to be a lawyer or a doctor, and it's like, why? It's like, you will never go to a doctor. Why do I need to be a doctor so bad? Because of the esteem and the power. Where did that esteem, where did that clout come from with that position? Society, a bunch of people that got together and agreed that this is a high value position. But if doctors started getting paid 20 grand a year and construction workers started getting paid 100 grand a year, then things would switch up and everyone all of a sudden wants to be a construction worker, because that's the agreed upon price that society said is okay. You know? And when you're living that life and you start to think for yourself and start to break outside the box, you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, I don't need to have the fancy car to be happy. I don't need to have the big ass house to be happy. And if that's still your goal, go for it, because I still see myself with a nice house on a nice plot of land, or the penthouse. I don't really care too much about the car, but it's like the penthouse is just something I just want, just because it's like, it's not the status of it. It's just for me. I want the penthouse, guy. I just want to look over the city and just wake up to that view every day. You know what I'm saying? Just be like, this is beautiful. And that's all I want. I just want the view. I don't care what people think about it. That's just my thing, because I'm looking out for me now. But these things you can't see your future vision if you're too clouded by your problems. So just to go ahead and end this video off, make sure you take some time to yourself and really ask yourself, how am I going to be happy? What's blocking me from doing that? What are some of my limiting beliefs that are stopping me from being happy? Because most of y'all's problem is you're living a life that's not yours. Find what makes you happy and go out there and live it. No matter whatever anybody else says, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. It's your life, so live it the way you want to. To the next one, peace.